Andy, I know you've never been happier than when you're sitting by a warm fire, snuggled up in a flannel and basking in the glow of an old-school budget spreadsheet.
It is a special day I can shut down the world for a little me time.
In a world full of applications, why do these antiquated documents and spreadsheets still run the world? And why haven't they been updated in over 50 years? That's why we want to talk about Coda.
Coda is a new kind of doc that brings words, data, and teams together. It comes with a set of building blocks that anyone can combine to create a doc as powerful as an app.
Coda runs our entire business here at True Story FM, from show scheduling across dozens of podcasts and scripts for thousands of episodes, to budgets and plans and wikis and more.
Coda lets us see our business in a new light. If you'd like to shine a light on productivity in your business and save money along the way, check out Coda today at thenextreel.com/Coda. It's hard to believe that we've been having in-depth weekly conversations about movies since 2011.
So many great conversations over the years about so many great movies. All that said, producing this show week after week requires a ton of work behind the scenes.
Becoming a Next Reel member gives you access to all sorts of additional and exclusive content. Plus, you're helping us keep the lights on. Just head to thenextreel.com/membership, where you can learn more about becoming a member, which costs a measly $5 a month, practically the same as one fancy coffee drink. And you get so much more.
Every month, we record a bonus episode exclusively for members. Those episodes cover movies from whatever series we're covering at the moment, or add to previous series.
Some movies we've covered that only members get to hear us discuss include The Blues Brothers,
The Russia House,
Naked Lunch,
Independence Day,
The Hot Rock,
and Relic, the better one. Plus, members get to vote on what we're going to discuss for those episodes.
We also record additional pre- and post-show content in regular episodes that only members get to hear,
like conversations about similarly themed movies.
And answering listener questions from our live member chat.
Speaking of our live member chat, we record almost all of our episodes in Discord, where members can chat right along with us live.
Members get access to other members-only channels in our Discord community as well. On top of all that, members get all episodes a full week earlier than everyone else in a private Next Reel feed just for them that includes all the shows in the Next Reel family. The Next Reel, the Film Board,
movies we like, Sitting in the Dark, and more new projects on the way.
To top it all off, members don't have to listen to ads. We've already eliminated those annoying, dynamically inserted ads that, let's face it, we all hated.
We are listening to you.
We love podcasting for a living, and those ads help to pay the bills. Now, we're counting on you, dear listener.
We promise we aren't going back to those terrible, dynamically inserted ads that don't relate to us at all. All we ask is that you consider supporting the Next Reel family of podcasts with a membership.
Again, it's $5 per month or $55 per year. Just head to thenextreel.com/membership.
thenextreel.com/membership. Get your access to early, ad-free episodes with bonus content, member bonus episodes, and access to member channels and live streams in Discord by signing up today.
Welcome to Take 10.
Welcome to Take 10. It's your favorite hosts. No, that's probably not your favorite host, but at least we'll be in top 20. But this is Take 10.
We're our own favorite hosts, Kyle.
That's right. You're my favorite host, Rob.
Oh, you are mine.
Oh. So this is Kyle and Rob. We're from the Marvel Movie Minutes and occasional guest appearances on other Next Reel film podcast things. But this is our little fun side project we like to do. We like to find 10 things, talk about 5 from me, 5 from Rob, and we're going to talk about it. Now, in the previous episodes we've done, we looked at streaming services and we picked our things there. Like, here's the best stuff in Disney Plus or stuff you should look at in HBO Max. This one, we're going to get a little different. We're going to get a little deeper, and we're going to make it a little tougher on you. So those ones were just a couple clicks away. These ones are going to require some work, because today's Take 10 is going to be on shows that were canceled before their time. These are one and done. They only got one season, and they were cruelly snatched from us, so we never got to see the rest of the story. Now, obviously there's the big guys out there. There's Firefly and things like that. We know that those are prominent shows. We don't really need to talk about those because they have their own dedicated fandom. I'm a brown coat myself, so we don't need to spend a lot of time on those. They got a movie, so I mean, like a lot of these shows you probably never even heard of before. So originally, when I came up with this idea, I said I wanted to make sure that they were all commercially available. Well, that proved to be really, really difficult because the more I dug into the shows I wanted to talk about, the more I realized they aren't anymore, and it's really, really weird.
It's incredible. Well, we'll get into this as we get into our list of 10, and then we'll probably have honorable mentions.
Yeah.
There's shows that even from the last few years,
yeah,
they're gone now.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about like lost Doctor Who episodes or something from like the 1940s. I mean, I'm talking like a show from like 2010, and it's gone.
Yeah,
like
or
you
later.
Can't find it anywhere. Yeah, I mean it's really strange. So the ones I did are the ones I have bought myself. So that on my list, I admit that was just from my list. The ones I have I have actually physical copies of. So that means that if our descriptions of these shows are something you want to do, you can find them. They are out there. Now you might have to buy a used one, or you might have to go on eBay or something. Or my suggestion is check your local library. I found a lot of those. I was working on a television show or a sitcom and realized that all the future seasons were out of print, but my local library had them for me, so I was able to do that. So that is my suggestion to you. Check your local library. Librarians are still out there, still working hard, even if their libraries are closed. So
there's digital. The libraries have gone digital, and we all know. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with libraries. Mainly just because intellectual property law doesn't apply there, but that's okay. Support your artists. But libraries are great.
Thank you, Ben Franklin.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben, thanks. No, look, libraries is great. And also, you know what? Obviously, as long as you're safe during these times, any of your used media, used bookstores of choice.
Oh, absolutely. Those are really a good choice, too.
Exactly. Support them and stuff. So there are ways to find them. And yeah, I mean, there will be shows here. Yeah. You're only going to hear our love for these shows, and you will have to go on a bit of a hunt to find them.
Yeah. So these are our top 10 one and done shows. So go ahead, Rob. Start us off.
Okay. So now I wanted to start first of all, and I'm only bringing the show up because we already mentioned one of the shows that would have been in the top 10 is The Brink from HBO. You can watch it on HBO Max. It was this great political theater sort of comedy, weird comedy with Tim Robbins and Jack Black. I bring it up just because it's not going to be in this list. It was in the previous episode. HBO Max, you go ahead and watch it. Now, my first pick, it's probably an obvious one because it's a very recent show. This show is only from about 6 years ago. But I got to tell you, my wife and I have so much love for this show that I had to put it on here, and that is Selfie. Starring John Cho and Karen Gillan. It was on ABC. It was in 2014. Here's the deal. It's based on My Fair Lady. And if you say to yourself, well, I don't remember that. Yeah, that's why the show failed. And here's the deal. The thing that's crazy about it is we loved it. We kept it on Hulu in like our My Shows area because we'd like to actually just go and watch some of the episodes. It's gone.
Oh.
It has disappeared completely. I don't know where you'd find it. You'd probably have to find an old copy of a DVD somewhere. What's really a shame is
if they even put out on DVD.
Yeah,
there's a whole era of shows they didn't even put out on DVD.
I think they did. Okay. I think it was a quick thing, but again, your mileage will vary.
Right.
Here's the thing that's sad about the show is if you go ahead and Google it, you will find incredible love for it in critical reviews. Why? The show was ahead of its time. It attacked self-indulgent social media ego culture head on at a time that I don't think we were ready for that. I think if you watched it, I think for all of us who are a little bit older than our 40s, we watched it and went, oh my God, this is brilliant. And yes, our daughter, please watch this because you should absolutely see the take that they're having on what we're doing to ourselves. I think that the audience they tried to gear this for was not ready for this. It was too soon.
I remember watching a couple episodes and then it was gone. They canceled it. And I think they pulled the episodes. They never broadcast most of them. If I remember.
Oh, there was actually a controversy. They cancel it like 5 or 6 episodes in, but they had the rest of the season, like the rest of the 6 episodes, and everybody went. And
this will be a recurring trend on the list.
Oh today. Yeah. Oh no. Like they didn't even give it a chance. And it's such a charming show, and it's so deeper in what it's trying to say. And then you got the My Fair Lady connection, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So like they yank it and they're like, yeah, we're done. And then of course, thankfully, there was a little bit of audience love that they got shown, and then they ended up releasing the rest of them on Hulu. So you could actually watch the full first season. But just a charming show. And John Cho, which John Cho will make another appearance in my list.
Oh, interesting. All right. It's my book. John Cho can do no wrong.
Yeah. Oh,
he's
of course.
amazing and everything.
No,
and I'm glad to say that as the last I checked, he has made a full recovery from his very, very scary broken leg.
Yes.
So they are soon to be resuming filming, I think. Luckily for him, it worked out that he got to have a year off because they had to stop production on Cowboy Bebop, the live-action anime version of that. And also, if you only know Karen Gillan as Amy Pond and Nebula, then you really need to see the other thing she can do, which is be extremely funny.
Oh my God, she's so great in this.
And pretty solid accent, too.
Yes.
I mean, like she's got a pretty good
yes.
American accent.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So, yeah, good one. All right. So mine is a show from 2006. So since Palm Springs has come out, which you have not seen Palm Springs on Hulu, I would highly recommend it. Great show. Time loops. So we have Groundhog Day. We have like that thing. But what if it turns out on that instead of having just a regular day where you're either reporting on a groundhog coming out or attending someone's wedding, you were accused of murder. And you had to repeat that day over and over again. That's the premise of Daybreak. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, Daybreak, that was a show on Netflix. And that's true. There is a sort of post-apocalyptic teen show called Daybreak on Netflix right now. That is when the words are combined. So you have to put the space in if you want to look for this one. It's day, space, break. So Taye Diggs is a cop who wakes up in an ordinary day, but then finds out that he's accused of murder, and then by the end of it, he's thrown in prison, and then wakes up and then has to do the whole day again. And so it is a 13 episode cop procedural thing, except that it's a mystery he's trying to uncover, even though everything resets at the end of the day. But it's really interesting how they sort of play this out, because they don't do the typical everything about it. Like at one point he gets shot. And then he's like, oh, don't worry. It's like, if I can just make it to midnight, I'll be fine, or whatever. And so then he makes it time and then wakes up, and he still has the gunshot wound. So he wakes up in bed. The next day, his girlfriend, went to bed and rolls over, and suddenly he's there with a gunshot wound. So it turns out that his injuries continue over to the next day and stuff too. And it is a fascinating show, because you get to see all these, because he tries different things. He's like, okay, what if, because every episode is called What If. So it's like, what if he does this? What if he talks to this person? And then one episode, he's just like, you know what? Because he gets really, really far. He thinks he solves the case, and he's like, all right, great. And the next day, it resets again. So he's like, what if I just run away? And so for the next episode, he just tries to just what if I just got on a plane? What if I just rented a car and just drove out of town? What if he tries all these different things to escape it and stuff too. So, but it also has an amazing cast. Not only is Taye Diggs the lead, but his girlfriend is Moon Bloodgood.
I was just gonna say she's awesome.
She's amazing. His partner is Victoria Pratt, which if you've seen any of the '90s show Cleopatra's 2525, she's in that. You've got Adam Baldwin. You've got Mitch Pileggi. You've got Jim Beaver. You've got Nestor Carbonell from Lost. I mean, this is a who's who of the great actors of the early 2000s. This was created by Paul Zabusky, who went from this to a little show called Lost.
Yeah.
And then Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the recently canceled Hellstrom. So he did pretty good too. He's got a bona fide track record. This was released on DVD. So you can track it down. It's out of print now, but it's still available. I think somebody was selling it on Amazon for $5 or something like that, and it is well worth the $5. And it also was interesting because in 2006 was sort of just the dawning of the online thing, and so this was one of the first shows ABC ever put up the rest of the episodes on. So they aired 4 episodes and then canceled it, and then put the rest of them online. So you had to go to abc.com to watch it, because this is pre-Hulu, pre-Netflix, any of this stuff. But it was one of the first times you could do that. So it was sort of precedent setting that way. But it's a lot of fun, and it's a really, really good mystery. And then but it's sort of it's more about the mystery, not about the machinations of time travel. So it's similar to Palm Springs in that way, where it's more about the story, not about what are the metaphysics of how this is happening. Okay, I think if they had gotten further seasons, they probably would have explored that more.
Right. Okay, what a great pick. I remember this show because, was a big fan of Moon Bloodgood.
Yeah.
She the year that this show came out was the same year that Eight Below came out, which was the Disney film about the snow dogs, and featuring the late Paul Walker. And we loved that movie. Took our daughter to that. Thought that movie was amazing, and thought she was awesome. And then that's how we ended up. I think that's how we ended up watching the show. So, good pick.
Oh yeah, she was in Terminator Salvation too. If you saw that.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
Jeez.
What you got next?
All right. So our next pick. Okay. So interesting. I put this here because it's a John Cho, another John Cho series. Also, we've already mentioned Lost. This show was trying to take the baton from Lost. This is a little ABC television series called Flash Forward.
Oh yes, I remember. I've watched every episode of this show,
and I got to tell you,
about it in years, Rob.
Oh wait, and Margie and I, my wife and I, watched this. We loved this. We totally got into it. We love John Cho.
Yeah,
we thought this was cool. The concept was it was like one of those fully into the mold of Lost.
Yeah,
a total WTF. Like, what is happening? This one was a moment where everyone on the Earth lost consciousness for a few minutes, and then they had a flash forward in their heads of what was going on in their life 5 years from that moment. And for the people, and then what you found as you watch the show is for the people who had nothing in the flash forward, that's because they had died between that moment and the flash forward. So it freaked everybody out. Like, everybody's all just like, what's happening? This was, they really set up a very ambitious story that had this crazy stuff. I mean, everything from, you can imagine, everyone blacks out. So, planes crash. All this crazy bedlam stuff happens. Almost a little Snappish, right? So, you had all that. Oh, and by the way, this is a Brandon Braga, David Goyer show. So, they understood the way in which, storytelling and all this, and the way you want to, freak people out with their episodes works. But it was really kind of neat in that they were really trying to put the puzzle pieces of when you looked at the footage during the blackout. So I remember the one episode they had the footage from a baseball game in a stadium. Everyone passes out.
Yeah.
But then in the distance you can see a person walking through the stadium, and they're like, what is going on?
Who is that person? How do they know?
What's happening? Yeah. No, it was such a great show. We were so bummed. And John Cho.
And it has a cliffhanger.
Yes.
That has a great cliffhanger at the last episode that will never be answered.
Oh, Joseph Fiennes.
Oh, yeah, Joseph Fiennes.
No, it was real. Courtney Vance. It was a great show. And I guess it doesn't have a big following because nobody's clamoring for a Kickstarter conclusion. To that, whatever.
I know all these things are rebooting. Reboot, flash forward.
Exactly. Oh. Okay, bye. And you can still get it Apple TV and Amazon and Vudu.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So yay for now.
Yeah, for now. So my next one is a charming little show, and I'm such a big fan of this show that if you watch us on our video show, you will notice a prop from this show over my shoulder. That's how much I love this television show. It is called Wonder Falls. So this is from 2004. This is actually created by Brian Fuller, who worked on DS9 Voyager and created a little show called Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
He also created Pushing Daisies, which I would have on this list in a prime spot, except that it got a second season, even though they canceled it halfway through the second season. But, you gotta do what you got. So, Wonder Falls is about a girl who's sort of post-collegiate. She doesn't really know what she's doing. She's just sort of lost in her life. And then she works at a curio shop at Niagara Falls. So, basically, she just has a regular retail job and lives in a trailer, is going nowhere with her life. And then some of the tchotchkes in her shop start talking to her. Oh. So it's this weird charming thing where they'll say the same message. They have it'll be like a stuffed dog that has a message for her, and only she can hear it, but it keeps saying the same message over and over again until she sort of understands the thing. And so the thing is, it's getting her to get involved with people and help them with their problems, even though she wants nothing to do with anyone. She's sort of shut down. But then it also then involves her whole family, how they're dealing with this as she's starting to go out into the world and do these things. And she's your consummate mid-2000s slacker, doesn't want to have it all, but finds that if she ignores these voices, they get louder and louder and louder. And so,
wow.
And so everything, she's insane, but then she's also helping people with their problems and stuff, doing it's charming and it's sweet and it's strange. It's great. Carolyn Davernos is the the one who plays the lead. Oh, she was big in Hannibal, which Brian Fuller also created. Her dad is William Sadler from like a thousand things. He was Death in the Bill and Ted movies.
Yeah.
And also her brother is Lee Pace, who people might know as Thranduil from the Hobbit films, and of course Ronan the Accuser from the Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain Marvel. So yeah, it's a wonderful, charming. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And one of the objects that talks to her, found online the exact one, and I bought it. I actually bought a set too. Another friend, I got my friend into the show, and I sent her the other one. So yeah, sitting on my bookshelf right behind me is this little monkey reading a book, which is a prominent character in the show. So it was available on DVD. I think it's out of print now, but it's not. I couldn't find it on digital anywhere. But it is well worth the hunt. It is a great show. One of my favorite shows of all time.
Well, especially because again, if you're watching Discovery now, you're loving that show. So
yeah, and this is another side of Brian Fuller. Like this is just like him. Instead of like he gets really into the dark side with Hannibal, and even with the early season of Discovery, which is where he was before he left the show. I mean, he created the show and then left it. But this is the other side of him, like this fun, sweet family drama thing with a bunch of weirdness in it as well.
Well, and you know what's interesting is like that. Okay, that theme, and I've not seen this before. But that theme has been regurgitated in a lot of other shows. I mean, CBS has shows that have that same plot line almost every other season. Okay, no, that sounds great. Oh, yeah. Wow. And that was a Fox show, right?
That was a Fox show, of course, yeah. Like, a lot of things, like if it was good and you loved it and they canceled it, that's Fox.
All right, so my next pick is, I'm going to tell you the title, but it's not going to be the show you think.
Oh, okay.
So it's The Defenders.
Oh, all right.
But it's not the Marvel Defenders.
So this isn't Luke Cage and
Jessica
Jones?
This is two lawyers working in Las Vegas, being good to the people who need their help. Jim Belushi, Jerry O'Connell.
Oh, wow.
This was
Okay, I'm starting to remember this.
Okay, CBS dumped so much money into the promo of this show. I think this is 2010. It came out in 2010. It made it through till March, the one season, 2011. And this is a theme. My wife and I loved this show so much. And I'm a Jim Belushi fan. I'm just going to admit it. I don't care what anybody... Not that I'm assuming that everyone wants to not like that. I watched According to Jim. According to Jim was wonderful. If you don't know what that show is, that's the show that he did prior to this one. This was going to be his next big TV show. And According to Jim, I mean, that show was good. Courtney Thorne-Smith, Kimberly Williams-Paisley, Larry Joe Campbell, right? Awesome. But anyway, The Defenders was just this fun sort of, it's the buddy lawyer comedy. That's all. I mean, like, it wasn't trying to be anything more than that, but always really enjoyed it, had a really big heart, and it was really enjoyable. They had fantastic chemistry. Jerry O'Connell and Jim Belushi, and you would think, like, really? Yeah. You can still watch this Amazon and Vudu. And I would actually recommend, if you're into buddy lawyer comedies, this may fit the bill.
Okay.
So there you go.
And you say that's available where?
Amazon and Vudu.
So for my next one, I apologize, Rob. I cheated a little bit.
Uh-oh.
I know we had our rules and stuff too, but but when you hear how I cheated, I think you're gonna let it go
okay.
Because this show that had one season and was canceled was revived, and in its first season was canceled. So it's the same show by the same creator, done twice and canceled twice.
Hold on. Let me ask this question before you say what it is.
Yes.
How much time passed between the first version and the rebooted version?
11 years.
Oh, yeah, it's fair. You're
okay.
Wait, what show is this?
It's a show called Cupid. In 1998, Rob Thomas, not the singer Rob Thomas, but the guy who went on to create Veronica Mars, created a show, and it was about a guy who thought he was Cupid, and then the counselor that was assigned to him. So he believed he was the god Cupid sent back to Earth as punishment, and he had to get 100 couples to fall in love before he would be allowed back onto Olympus. So in the first season, he was played by Jeremy Piven. And Paula Marshall was the thing, and it was
Yes.
this was peak Piven too. This is before Entourage or anything like this. This is like Grosse Pointe Blank.
Right. I have vague memories of this. Yes.
Yeah, and so it was this funny, sweet, charming show about love and and all the things he had to do, and the question remains through the whole show: is he actually Cupid? Because he doesn't really have any powers, but he seems to know a lot of things, or is he just a crazy guy who just is trying to get people together? And so this show, it lasted one season and it was canceled. And then in 2009, they're like, hey, how about trying it again? And Rob Thomas went, great. And so he got a brand new cast. He got Bobby Cannavale to do it. And he got it. And they lasted 7 episodes and they were canceled again.
Third time's a charm? No? Third time?
Maybe. But the second season was actually really good too because Bobby Cannavale is so damn charming already.
Sure, yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. It did, whatever reason, it did not work again. People were just like, no, say no to love. But both, even though it's the same premise done, in 10 years, they're both really, really good. Now, the first one's really hard to find, but the second one, you can actually find the 7 episodes they did before they were canceled, and that's on iTunes and some of the other streaming things to purchase. I don't think it's actually streaming on any services, but it is well worth checking out because it's just a fun, sort of romantic comedy about love. So Cupid.
Wow, what are okay.
I know, right?
Vague memories of that. Jeremy Piven, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one. Now, I got to tell you, I have so much love for this show, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before, but this show, this is 2009, and it is a show that revolves around a fictional advertising firm. Now, you'd say to yourself, 2009, advertising firm.
Hey, Mad Men?
Yeah, Mad Men? No. This was set in a modern day advertising firm. It starred Tom Cavanaugh and Eric McCormick.
Oh, okay.
Which is great. It's called Trust Me. Now, this is where confusion settles in. If you Google Trust Me, you will get the British medical drama starring Jodie Whittaker and other people, right? There was a little American TV series on TNT. So this was on a cable network.
Yeah.
It was such a charming show, and it hit me like right at the height of like my working in the political days, right? So like it was all about the pitch and how these two guys, one was the copywriter, the writer, the other one was the designer, and how they would deal with all of the crazy stuff that their clients would bring them. It was amazing. Like it was funny. It dealt with their real lives and all the struggles of their life, and for anybody who's creative, it dealt with the creative blocks that you get when you have deadlines and everything else. I loved this show so much. You had Monica Potter was in it as a supporting role. She was great. I love the show so much. This is like the show. This is my adult self. My last pick, which we'll save. The child in me had another show, but for the adult, I so wanted more seasons of this, and it's nowhere. You can't get it anywhere because it was a TNT show. I don't know if it's hidden somewhere in TNT.com or whatever. It's not. I know it was on DVD, but I love this show so much. If you're a creative person who's ever worked professionally or commercially in a group, you'll very much get the jokes and the traumas and the trials and tribulations of life. This is a great show. Loved it. And great. Okay. Eric McCormick and Tom Cavanaugh. I mean, you can't go wrong there. So good stuff.
Trust Me US? Like, I don't know how you search for it.
Oh, yeah. Trust Me TNT. I would search for Trust Me TNT. Trust Me TNT. And then you should be able to get it.
All right, cool. All right, my next one is from. Do you remember ABC Family?
Well, yeah, of course. Well, wait, the network?
Yeah, the network. I think it's become something. I think it's something else
now.
And
then I think it changed again.
Yeah, I think it changed again. What?
Because you know why?
Back then.
This was back. You know what? You have to understand. ABC Family was there's the before Pretty Little Liars time, and then there's the after Pretty Little Liars.
So this is right about the time they were making that transition. So the show got sort of caught in the gears. I think. Because this was a show that I think, if it had been on a streaming service now, I think would have been a huge hit. But at the time was just like, no promotion on a nothing network. I know, with a tiny little budget, didn't have a chance. But it's lovely and charming, and it's called The Middleman. It's based on an actual comic book that Javier Grillo Marxuach wrote. He worked on Lost, and so he left Lost and created this show. And the premise is roughly that all these organizations can't really afford their own special agents and things, so they hire the middleman, and it's the most ridiculous, over the top. That their budget would allow. But I mean, like, you have gangster gorillas, and you have an evil alien slime, and you have they, at one point they have to thaw out a middleman from the past, and I mean, like, it gets, and they have a sassy robot. Who like gives them their assignments and stuff too? Who looks like a middle-aged, mean old woman. So it's really, really funny and silly, and if you can get into the spirit of it, it's great. They got to do 12 of their 13 episodes, which was a shame, but for the 13th episode, which had already been written, they were canceled right like before they could do their series finale, essentially. They actually got together at Comic-Con and read the script out for everyone, and they recorded that, so you actually can find online. So there is a bit of closure for a lot of these things that are left open-ended. That was released on DVD.
Okay, we haven't had any overlap. I'm totally impressed. This is good. All right, so my final pick, my final contribution. All right, so when I was a kid, I had huge fascination with the space program, with flight, with all this stuff. I in early 1980s, I asked my dad to take me to go see The Right Stuff, the original version from like I think 83 or 84. I had to be the only 11-year-old in the audience for that, I'm sure. But so I love that show. I love that movie. So the year, I think it was after that, ABC announces they are going to create a show in the sort of model of The Right Stuff called Call to Glory. Craig T. Nelson played, and this is one of the greatest character names ever, Colonel Raynor Sarnak.
Wow.
The Sarnaks. And this show... the only way you'll get this show, I guarantee you right now, is you will find it on a VHS bin in a yard sale. Like, there's no way. You're never going to find this anywhere, because I'm sure this is vaulted away a long time ago. 22, 23 episodes. If you love aviation and you love the Air Force, this was an amazing show. It was Craig T. Nelson kind of being Mr. Incredible way, like, before all this. One of his daughters was played by Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, wow.
This was one of Elizabeth Shue's first roles. Like, this comes out,
like
I think,
post Karate Kid?
Same year.
Oh,
same year as Karate Kid. Same year as Karate Kid, 84. She's in it. Cindy Pickett, who, if anybody remembers from like 80s, 90s television, Cindy Pickett was in so many different, starring roles on, guest roles, I should say, in a lot of like procedural dramas and stuff like that. I love this show so much, and I remember watching it. And my father, this is this is an awesome moment of my father just being very brutally honest with his young son. I'm watching it, and I'm like, Dad, the show is so amazing. And he's like, yeah, well, don't get used to it, because there's no way the show's making it to a second season.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, no, there's not enough people in this country that want to watch an Air Force plane fly around in the sky for 20 minutes. He's like, good luck. Yeah. And I wish they would bring this back, the show somehow. I would love to watch this season again. But anyway, Call to Glory.
Yeah, I had the kiss of death all through the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
It was sort of like Automan canceled, Tales of the Gold Monkey canceled. I mean, it was like I had like whatever show I loved, it was certain to die. And that includes my final pick, too. So, for those of you who only know Andy Richter as the sidekick on Conan O'Brien, you really missed out, because he had a fantastic sitcom that only lasted 6 episodes. Now, I'm not talking about Andy Controls the Universe. No. This was something that Conan O'Brien helped create with Jonathan Groff. It's called Andy Barker P.I. It only lasted 6 episodes, and I swear, like, this is one of the funniest sitcoms that no one knows about. So the premise is Andy plays Andy Barker, who is a certified public accountant. Like, he finally leaves his accountant's firm and opens his own practice, and he moves into a strip mall. But he moved into one of the slots that had been recently vacated by a private detective. So people keep coming to him thinking he's a private detective, and he has to keep explaining to them, and they will not listen. So as a certified public accountant, he keeps taking on these cases for people, and ends up being hilarious. This is one of those things where every time I've shown this sitcom to anyone, they have fallen in love with it and go, where's the next episode? And I swear, the second episode, is I would put it in my top 10 of all sitcom episodes of all time. Like, it's one of the funny. I've watched it. Can't tell you how many times. It has one of the best recurring bits, which I will not spoil on here. But the best part about this, as I'm selling it so hard, you can get it. Like, you can go right now on iTunes. I think it's like $20 or something, and you can get all 6 episodes, and they are well worth it because it is strange and sweet and funny, and it is an overlooked treasure.
Oh. Okay, you saw my expression?
Yeah.
Have we ever had the Andy Barker conversation?
I don't think we have.
Oh my God, no. It is okay. So there's a little bit of a story behind the show. This show comes out. What is it? 2007.
2007. Yeah.
So this and another detective themed show that NBC had premiered. This was like the dawn of buying a TV show on iTunes.
Oh,
and I remember I did this because I bought the show on iTunes because I was just like, ooh, let's see how this works, right? And I've watched this show several times because I thought it was so funny, and it's weird, and it's weird. Tony Hale. Tony Hale's
Tony Hale, that's right. Yeah, pre-Arrested Development, Tony Hale.
Oh,
I should say.
Totally, and you could just imagine how crazy. And then they had like funny, wasn't there Jesse Martin from his Law. If you know who Jesse Martin is, he's the detective Ed Green from Law and Order. He has a cameo in one of the episodes in character from Law and Order. Like, it's just totally surreal.
Yeah, Amy Sedaris is in it.
Yes,
James Hong. And once again, there's Nestor Carbonell. I love Nestor Carbonell so much.
Oh, I just lit up. You said this because this was going to be my bonus. I was like,
nice.
And okay, no, it's so weird. Like, I mean, listen, you're hearing us gush about it.
Yeah,
you know, there's not totally things right with both of us.
Right.
Let me just tell you,
we're a little bit.
You may watch this and go.
I tell you, even if you trust my opinion at all, take $2 and buy episode 2, Fareway My Lovely.
Yes!
It's written by Jane Espenson from Buffy and Alex Hirschlag, who I don't know, but I'm sure is great. I think I'm going to watch it tonight just because it gives me such fond memories of it. Yes.
Okay.
So there's our 10.
Yes!
10. But as you know, 10 is not nearly enough to contain our thing. So I do have bonus. So Andy Barker was one of yours that I stole?
Well, no, it almost made my 5. Like, it was... It just, you know what happened is, no, I'll be honest with you, it was going to be, I put in flash forward, and I wasn't sure I was going to use selfie because that's so recent, but I wanted to have the John Cho thing because I did love flash forward, so it kind of, it would have been in that spot, but
my first, I have 2. The first one I had is actually when we were talking about the concept of this episode, I talked about the show to you, and you didn't even know it existed. So I thought maybe people don't know it existed. Now I put it in honorable mention, not because it's the quality show, because you can't get it. And also, you never could have got it unless there's some enterprising pirate out there, because this is from 1995. It is a show that Fox, once again, cruelly canceled before its time, and it's called Strange Luck. So it was an hour-long show. It was a drama-type show about a guy who had survived a plane crash and found he had the most bizarre luck. So every time he picked up a lottery ticket, he won. But then on the other side of it, he kept finding that he kept getting involved in other people's things because his luck runs hot and cold both times. So he can't really control what's going to happen, and he finds if he pushes his luck, then his luck will push back. So it was like this moody drama thing. It was very, very similar to the X-Files because it came out after the X-Files, and they connected it to the X-Files. Like, X-Files was the hot show at the time. So at one point they actually have a mention of Fox Mulder in one of the episodes, so that it connects. So they could say, like, oh, it was in the same universe as it, too. It was a great, great show. D.B. Sweeney was the lead in that. Carl Schaefer is the guy who actually created the show. He also went on to create Erie, Indiana, if you're a fan of that show, too. That was another one that lasted a couple seasons, but was a lot of fun and weird. So it came out. It aired once, every episode, and never again. It was never released on DVD. It was never put on any streaming platform, never on Blu-ray or anything else. It just ceased to exist. So the only way you can find it now is if somebody had taped it on a video cassette and uploaded it to one of those less than illicit sites.
Do you know what's funny is that when you Google this, you get, if you could do an image search, you get a whole bunch of fan-made DVD copies.
See? That's it. Because Because no one's released. So Fox, I don't know, this show is just sitting in your archives. Put it on something. Put it on Hulu. Put it on your streaming service. I mean, there's 1,000 streaming services now. I mean, for God's sakes, Peacock would love to have some content.
Okay. And I'm going to be dumb for a second. Is this show... Now, this show is still owned by Fox Television.
I believe so. I have not. I did not dig that deep into it to find out who actually was the company that put it out. But I think it was a Fox. Like, it was a 20th Century Fox and then did it. But yeah, there's a lot of X-Files DNA in there too. So yeah, so I say if you can find it, it's great. But I don't know, you probably won't be able to find it.
So
maybe possibly somebody put it on YouTube. I have no idea.
Yeah, we have nobody. The IP police are not checking for that.
Yeah,
interesting. Okay, I did feel like I had to put this on here because even though the show failed, and I think that's what most people think, I very much enjoyed it, and I know we've talked about it, mentioned it before. Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Yes.
This was the Aaron Sorkin. This was the follow-up, sort of, to The West Wing and their take on, what would it be like to produce Saturday Night Live. And yeah, of course, everyone knows the story, or if you're not sure, this came out the same year that 30 Rock came out, and they're both kind of about the same thing. One of them was a, comedy 23-minute format that everyone loved because it had incredible characters. This one was the dramatic take, I should say, and I loved it. Amazing cast. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Boo. So
I had interesting history with this show because I am a huge Sorkin fan. Like I have watched everything that he has ever done, including Malice. That's how big of a fan I am. But I never had finished Studio 60. I watched the first couple episodes and then sort of went, I don't know what, at the time it was just like, it was not catching for me. So I just let it go thinking, it's Aaron Sorkin. It's going to be around for like 10 seasons. I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
So then I let it go and then it got canceled and then, disappeared. And then sort of, it was always on my list of like, I should go back and look at that. And then I didn't, and I didn't, and I didn't, and I didn't. And it just has been always out there. He's new stuff comes out. I watch all of Newsroom. I watch, Trials of Chicago 7, all that stuff. And then finally, that I was on a podcast with our own handsome Tommy, and he was talking about how much he loves Studio 60, even with its flaws. And I was like, why haven't I gone back and watched that? So over all this time I had, I downloaded it and I watched every episode. So like within the last couple months, I have finally seen all of Studio 60. And so I agree.
And what do you think? Like,
it has some issues because it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like a lot of these shows, they come out and they know exactly what they are. I mean, even the ones that I was saying, even though they got canceled, Daybreak knew what it was, Wonder Falls knew what it was, but Studio 60 didn't really know what it wanted to be because it was trying to cover so many bases. But then once it's sort of in the middle, it sort of it was also fighting a lot of battles at the same time, where it was like, okay, this is a drama show about a comedy show. You don't need to take on the U.S. every problem we have about you don't take on the war and censorship and it's like and the right wing slow down
I mean and they always tried to be so edgy with their cold open, right? That was like the big thing. I remember the first episode and it was edgy and it was really good. They got way too involved, if I remember correctly. I thought the whole subplot with Amanda Pete's executive character got really bogged down.
Yeah.
At least I wasn't a big fan of that. But my favorite part of that show to this day, I spent a year, if not more, at one point trying to find out how to get one of these. I wanted the countdown clock that Matthew Perry's character had in his office. That was amazing. You can now sort of do it like with the Arduino, like a Raspberry Pi box, but no, I wanted that one. And this box, for people wondering what we're talking about, he had a clock that would count down 7 days down to the start of the show.
Their show aired Friday nights, and live. That was, the idea was it was in a world where Saturday Night Live existed, but their show Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip was a competitor of Saturday Night Live. So it aired Fridays, always live. And so he had a countdown clock to the start of the show every time. So then every time the show would end, then the countdown clock would just reset. And then count down 7 days because he had to write the show in that amount of time.
I love that so much. Just the idea that it never ends.
I mean, obviously Bradley Whitford we know is amazing. Everything he does is great, and Matthew Perry again great. But the people that really blew me out of the water were Amanda Peet is so great in the show.
Oh,
Like,
yes, no, she's great. No, just the character was weird. What they did with the character.
Yes, not everybody can do Sorkin dialogue and stuff too, and she was one of the best characters on that entire show. And also Steven Weber, as Jack Rudolph, like as the cold, executive who you learn more about him as the show goes on. But I think they're doing some of the best work of their careers in the show, and nobody saw it.
Yeah. Well, even Sarah Paulson.
Yep, Sarah Paulson is
outstanding, and the character she's playing is so opposite of who she is. I mean,
very clearly based on Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah, is that? Oh, that is right. That's right.
Yes,
that's
because because Aaron Sorkin had a long-term relationship with Kristen Chenoweth, and she had a lot of the same quirks and beliefs and things about that. So
you can.
I mean, but that's not like telling tales out of school, because I've read Kristen Chenoweth's autobiography, and Aaron Sorkin writes a chapter of it, so they're on good terms.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But Simon Helberg, before he was on Big Bang Theory, is on this as the impressionist of the show, and he has a recurring bit where he's doing Nicolas Cage, and he does a fantastic Nicolas Cage.
And I loved Nate Cordry in this.
Yes, Nate Cordry was really good.
Rob Corddry's brother, and this.
It is a flawed show, yes.
Yes.
However, there's the good outweighs the bad, and I really enjoyed watching all the way through it, and I'm sure I will watch it again.
Don't you think this? Okay, of all the shows on this list,
yes,
this is the show. If it had a second season, it would have been out there for a while. It would have been
phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, it would have turned everybody around.
Yeah. Yes. I totally believe that.
I have seen way rougher first seasons. Pretty much, let's say, every Star Trek season.
Right.
First season of every Star Trek show is usually pretty awful. Sorry, Trek fans, it's true. No one ever looks at a Trek show and goes, "Yeah, but it's never as good as the first season."
Well, except for Enterprise. Enterprise is first. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that he really would have turned it around in that one, but never really got the chance. So then my other honorable mention, and I didn't pick it because it has a happy ending, was a little show called Police Squad.
Oh.
So in 1982, the Zucker brothers came out with the Police Squad, which was now it's hard to watch it as a parody because all the stuff it's parodying is gone. So you watch it now and it's just funny. So it's but the nice thing about Police Squad is that eventually it became a feature film called The Naked Gun, and they did several sequels off of that. But the original episodes are really, really funny because they're so silly. It's if you were a fan of Airplane, it's the same guys. Yeah, but that was available on DVD. I don't know if it's still in print or not, but it is definitely worth checking out. It's really, really funny. Leslie Nielsen.
And then my bonus, just in case. Well, in case any of them got taken. This was a very recent show on CBS that did not last very long. It had a great cast: Jane Lynch, Maggie Lawson, Kevin Pollak, Angel from Hell.
Oh, I remember seeing the promos for that, but I never actually watched the episodes.
Yeah, we did watch it. We were committed. We thought it was charming, and boom, no. So, and I think you can still get that on CBS All Access or whatever it's called.
Do you mean Paramount
today.
Plus?
Paramount, whenever that's happening.
I think it is still a CBS All Access.
Yeah. No, that and I mean, again, not something that's gonna blow you away, but we definitely much enjoyed it. So I did have a bonus. I had a bonus recovery one just in case. Well, there you go.
Okay, so yeah, there's our 10 and some extra ones as well. So hopefully between those, you'll be able to find something that you'll enjoy watching. If not, these are all worthy shows that are worthy of us more attention in this age of streaming shows. You people who are worried about your show getting canceled after the third season, come on. Sometimes there's some things I see only lasted 2 episodes and they were gone.
Or come on, these shows that had half their seasons dumped on Hulu.
Right.
I mean, jeez. Anyway.
Yeah.
Andy Barker. Watch some
Andy Barker. Yeah, so if nothing else, watch Andy Barker. It's so good. Contact Andy Richter and be like, why aren't you doing more sitcoms? Because you're so good. All right, so thank you all for listening. We'll be back when we can think of another 10 things we want to talk about. And from this show, it looks like we could do another Take 10 on one and done shows because there's a lot of them we didn't even mention. As you were talking, I thought about all the ones from the 80s that I loved that were canceled. Yeah. Misfits of Science and, all of these... all these shows that thought they were going to be the next big thing and ended up being a footnote in the history books.
Yeah.
but all worthy of your time and love. So thank you all for listening. We'll see you on the next show.
Bye.
End program.
I love the conversations that so many of our hosts have had on their shows. Steve and JJ on Trailer Rewind, Ray and Ocean on Silver Linings, even Tommy's short-lived Wait, Hear Me Out.
So many listeners want to make sure they've watched the movie before tuning in to any discussion on our podcasts. Well, you know, the best way to watch the movie is to look it up on our watch page.
Our watch page lists all the movies that we have discussed on all the shows from the Next Reels family of podcasts, including the one you're listening to right now. It's your one-stop shop for Apple and Amazon links where you can rent or buy the movie.
Trailer Rewind movies like Raw,
The Nice Guys,
The Peanut Butter Falcon,
or Free Fire.
No, Wait, Hear Me Out movies like Josie and the Pussycats or Return of the Living Dead.
Or Silver Linings movies like Repo Men, Daredevil, and The Wolfman.
Plus, by using those links to rent or purchase movies, Apple and Amazon will show us a little bit of love, which allows you to support our family of shows with minimal effort.
It's a great way to support the show and find something to watch.
That's right. Head over to thenextreel.com/watch to pick out your next movie and start watching today.